QuarantinedCon.com, and we are here with our very last interview. But before we get to that, if you haven't checked out QuarantinedCon.com, make sure you go to QuarantinedCon.com, hit the tickets. It's totally free. Once you register, push the button, and boom. As far as I know, it should be still kicking until about like 10 or so. In case you guys didn't know, Jarek and I, we host a weekly TV show called The Adventure Begins. It drops every Thursday on certain social media platforms and Roku for me and for you.
Yep. We do cool stuff like talk about upcoming comics, unbox games, do some tab talks, some nerd stuff, and then every now and then we throw in fun jokes or skits that we think are funny, but you probably do as well, hopefully. So make sure to check us out every Thursday on select social media, as well as on Roku for me and for you.
So check it out, man. We've been talking with comic book artists. We've had actors. We've had musicians. We've had them all. And for our very last interview, man, we've decided we're going to save the funny with one of my friends, comedian Chassity. What's up, Chassity?
What's up?
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
Enjoying the beautiful outdoors. Making
Ooh.
Yeah, it looks like you're at the beach right now, so you're making a lot of people jealous. That's what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
So, your stand-up name. You've got like 3 different names that I know you by. What is your stand-up name?
Really? Okay, so I've always kind of gone by Chassity because my opening joke involves me explaining my name.
Okay. You want to give us that opening joke?
Okay.
Yeah, why not? This is Tab After Dark, by the way. So
yeah. Not kid-friendly.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm good. So my parents named me Chassity, kind of like the belts, except he replaced the first T with an extra S, so it just says ass right in the middle of my name. So everyone always assumes that my parents were really huge fans of Sonny and Cher, but my family knows that my mom just really loves anal. So yeah, after that went over with my family, I basically have to probably change my name. I've been working on trying to pick the perfect one, so that's probably why you've come across a few. So I'm trying to change my opening joke, but that's just me, and it explains my aggression and frustration because my parents they gave me this name, and I got picked on as a kid growing up. Even in high school, my friends made fun of me. They were, remember that movie? It was like they have a Chassity character, and they were like, she's white trash. I think it was Wedding Crashers or something like that. I never watched the movie. I boycotted it. I was like, I don't want to see this because all the golf team went around calling me something Chassity. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't. No. So like when you're billed, are you just billed as Chassity, or do you have a Chassity something?
Bro. I go by BRO.
Bro.
See, that's one of the names I know you by, but again, I know you by like 3 different names. So I just wanted to make sure that people know that when you book something, they see Chassity Braud. That's who we're talking with right now.
There you go.
So obviously, man, you're a comedian and you got to be funny, right? So tell us a joke. No, I'm kidding. I know comedians hate that. How did you get into comedy? What was the turning point when you were younger where you're like, hey, man, I could probably do this?
Well, I guess I was a little older, so I had already, gone to college. I had gone through nursing school. I was not funny. I never got into SNL. Like, I had tons of friends that were consistently, watching SNL, probably more into comedy than I ever would have been. But I guess there was a lot of different things that happened just kind of in my life. And I found a couple of different comedians, their stand-up routines, and I really just died. It just, I loved it so much. And I was like, I need to try this, So yeah, a bunch of different reasons, but I loved it.
Who were those comedians?
I really love Dave Chappelle, and I remember seeing him get booed. I didn't see him get booed, but I had tickets to see him at the Woodlands Pavilion, right? And I remember hearing he got booed. I ended up not being able to make the show, and I was so excited to make it. I always loved him so much. And then I was just frustrated that anyone would boo him. I was like, how could you boo? Like, this is my favorite person in the world, So I thought, you know what? I've been the worst person when it comes to public speaking. All throughout high school and college. I think I told Chaz the story whenever we were on our last show we did together, that in college I had to give my first presentation in front of 300 people, and I had my jacket hoodie that I grabbed out of the dryer, and it happened to have a cheetah thong in the back of it. So at the very end of my presentation, someone comes up to me as I'm about to like walk off stage, taps me on the shoulder, and it's like, you have something in the back of your hoodie, and I pull it up. So like the entire auditorium sees me pulling up this cheetah thong, and they all just die laughing at me. And I'm like, why does this shit happen to me? I don't understand. So just a bunch of weird things like that happened throughout my life, and I was like, I need to just not care what people think and just be myself. And there's really no other way you can be yourself and be honest. I don't know if you guys have been on business meeting calls. So it's just nice to be able and refreshing to see people just kind of be honest. So that's really why I love comedy. Yeah.
Well, is this a fairly new thing for you? As far as how long have you been doing stand-up?
So I've kind of done it on and off, and I never really did it consistently the way a lot of local comedians do. They'll go out to the same show, and they'll be hosting like the same show consistently every week. And I've been doing it. I started, I think the first time I went on stage was in Houston, but then not that long after that, I moved to Salt Lake City. So doing stand-up in Salt Lake City and Denver, that was just completely different. And I didn't even do it a ton whenever I was there, but I would go to a lot of the shows, and then I only went up occasionally. So I was just very shy. I've always been like very stage shy. So, but yeah, I just kind of slowly started doing it. Probably about like 3 years, but just not consistently.
Right.
Okay. So how do you go about defining your comedy brand? Like, you think of people like Lewis Black, who's just a man who's angry at everything. Like, what's your comedy brand?
Okay, I need to look up Lewis Black. I don't know who he is, but
Oh, whoa, man! Oh, that's like a whole skit he does right there. I swear.
I know one of the Lewis folks, so I'm good. But yeah, no, I would say my brand. I don't know. I really wanted to come out with a bit called like "Eat My Fire," and it just be me taking out all my aggression towards not necessarily anyone I've dated, but just like the comments that these guys make sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it would just be a fun way to just kind of, I don't know, I guess be honest. I tend to be someone where I don't really say what's on my mind a lot of times. I just kind of keep it to myself. So I thought that would be fun, and I wanted to wear like a chastity belt. And also, like I said, I get over my childhood getting picked on, right? So I want to wear like a chastity belt and have it shoot out fire. But then I realized that brand is the worst kind of brand. It's not what I'm going for. If anything, I feel like I'm Emma Watson here. I'm self-partnered. I want to just kind of be happy with my garden and like my, I would say animals, but I've killed 3 fish, so that's about where I stand. So yeah. My brand, I don't know. I'm still working it out. I don't really want to be like someone. My whole goal is how can I get guys not come up to me after shows when I go on stage? Like, I don't want to deal with this. And so I tried to think of all these things I could say, but I feel like the more I try to address the issue, the more it's just going to make the situation worse. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Maybe a body armored suit that's just like attached to the chastity belt is what I'm thinking my brand will be.
There you go.
What is your worst bombing story? He bombed on stage before, the worst one. I want to hear it.
Okay, so there's so many. This is a good one. Okay, so probably one of my favorite ones, at least. I was doing a show, and it was the middle of a wake, and it was at this bar. What's the name of the bar? It was in Houston, actually. And there was a ton of comics that I just see regularly that were going up, and no one was really paying attention to us because it was the middle of a wake. So all of the people at the bar were talking about this dead person, having it was like a celebration of death or life, whatever those things are called. So I left, and I started talking about, I think I pointed out to this lady up front, and they started talking to her. I think before I even went on stage, I was just sitting next to this person who was sitting in the front, and we got to talking. So then I went on stage, and she was a younger person, looked like she was about my age, right? And I started talking about how Hugh Hefner had died, and we really need Hugh Hefner to be, revived, but what we need is a female Hugh Hefner, because it's like, I don't know if you guys read that, there was some book where someone was kind of talking bad about him, and they were saying he's really critical on the females he kept around, like as far as their appearance. And I was like, yeah, but females are critical of each other, and it's totally fine. So what we need to keep, I'm all about anti-aging, looking your best, Botox all the way, Botox your body. That's what, it helps my migraines. I'll support Botox. The only person I saw during this quarantine was my Botox doctor. I love it. So, so I think, so I went on stage and I started talking about that, and no one was really paying. Everyone kind of stopped and was just giving me a weird look, and then this girl up front was just kind of hammered drunk, and she was like, yeah. And then I started talking to her, like, do you have a boyfriend? She was like, yeah, he's in the back, and because I thought she was single. Anyways, we started going at it on stage, and we just had a really fun vibe, and so it was like one of those cool things to look around the room and see people just staring at us like, what's wrong with this too?
Do you have a boyfriend? Yeah, he's in the casket.
Nice.
And your experience, what type of crowds are the worst to perform for?
Ooh, it was funny. I really expected going into stand-up that for me the worst type of crowd would be like a family, because I wouldn't really want to say my jokes in front of kids.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to explain my opening line to my little sister who's 16. My mom was like, she doesn't know what a chastity belt is. Like, don't tell her, this is just inappropriate. But my little sister makes jokes that are worse than mine sometimes. So I'm like,
hold on real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you said your sister, your mom said that your sister had no idea what a chastity belt is, but she had nothing to say about the last part of that joke.
No. She did have something to say about the last part of that joke. She was like,
her main concern was chastity, not the end of it. All right, so my bad. So go ahead.
She does not like anal. She's very adamant about it. I told her she should try it before she downs it. She's not a fan.
That's why I was trying to be secretive about it.
No, I'm pretty much an open book. So I went to nursing school, so I think whenever you see like different body parts on a daily basis, you're just like thinking it's normal, you know? No. Thinking that saying things like that's okay. So.
Yeah. So speaking of.
I missed the question completely. I forgot what it was now.
No, it was what is the worst type of crowd to perform for? I cut you off. It's my fault.
So probably not the families though. Actually, I feel like I've gotten some pretty okay responses. I think the worst type of crowd that I've ever gone up in front of was probably. It's honestly, I hate to say this but Salt Lake City.
Well, yeah, because if you were to do it, that's a different type of crowd up there in Salt Lake, especially with your type of humor.
I was new at the time. It was one of the first crowds I really kind of went up in front of. So, that's probably more why.
So that was.
I get me laughs and I like it. Yeah.
So that was worse than the wake itself. Nice. That takes something.
I enjoyed the wake. Yeah, it was a good time.
Nice. So, looking at the stream, we got a question from Rich. You said you went to nursing school. Did comedy help with the NCLEX? NCLEX?
I would say, actually, I never took the NCLEX. I just left, and I was like, I never want anything to do with this. But
there you go.
I have my NCLEX books still, and I would say I used to actually be weird. I did this even before I went to nursing school, because I started off doing something different. But, I would make up, like, songs and little jokes and rhymes to try to remember certain things. So
I can't wait to hear one.
Yeah. You know them still, right? Obviously.
No, I don't actually. I don't remember a lot of them, but I do remember one, and it was about. Do you remember the guy who kind of invented hand washing, who killed himself? Selma Weyes. I'm probably not saying this properly, but if you Google it, it's like some weird foreign word name that I cannot pronounce. It's like it starts with an S. It's like Selma Weyes or something like that.
Not a clue.
Oh yeah, that guy. I know exactly who you're talking about.
I'm sure nobody knows about this.
I'm not in nursing school, so why would I?
During our time, and nobody believed him about my hand washing. So that was one of my favorite things to study for sure.
Well, there you
go. Do you get a lot of hecklers at your shows? I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but I imagine that you do. And I'm not trying to be. I'm not trying to be rude whatsoever, but it just seems as though that you think a lot of the stand-up, especially in Houston or whatever, people go for a certain type of stand-up, and you're because you're so raw, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just imagine that you get hecklers, and how do you deal with them?
That's funny you ask. So I typically get a reaction from people, or I get a super kind of shocked laughter, but I really haven't had to deal with too many hecklers. I get a lot of young drunk kids, especially at the Avant Garden. I love the Avant Garden. It's one of my favorite shows because it keeps me literally on my toes. So I get a lot of drunk college kids that are the big hecklers, and they'll just ask me ridiculous questions. Like, people always assume I'm really rich just because they'll ask me where I'm from, and I'm like, I'm from the Woodlands, and they always assume I'm for some reason. I get this even a lot of my like coworkers and employees just think I come from like some massively, I don't know, rich family, and I absolutely do not. So I think it's quite comical to me. I'm just like, whatever, let these people think what they want. But yeah, I ever fired back with that guy, and I was like, listen, it doesn't matter how much money I have. I am descended from Jesse James the bank robber and Joseph Smith, the guy with all the wives, all the young wives. So by the end of this show, I will be taking all your gold and all of your gals. So get ready. And they love that sort of thing. So I think the college kids are probably more my crowd.
Oh yeah, hands down. Most definitely. Most definitely. I would love for you to do a stand-up gig at like Sunny Acres retirement home, just for the reaction.
Yes.
I think that would be like a really good skit, but like a hidden camera skit, like that one that you would have to fake. Like actually put hidden cameras up, you perform your comedy in front of and just get all the reactions. I think we should do that sometime. We'll on a tab after. So,
I'm down.
This is happening. We're doing it. I'm writing it down right now.
I performed the VA for a bunch of vets. So it was pretty much a couple of kids, and then everyone else was like probably over the age of 45, 50. And so I remember I opened up and I just said, you know, I always love coming out to perform for the vets. Back when I was in nursing school and I was taking care of patients, the vets were always my favorite ones to take care of. They were the only ones I took the extra time to apply lube for, because I knew if I didn't, they'd fight back. So imagine all these like grandparents in the room, and they were just staring at me, jaw dropping. And I didn't prepare anything for this at all. It was just the first thing that popped into my head when I got up there. And then I kind of got a reaction from the crowd, and it was just this one old guy, and he was like, "Bah, ha, ha." He just loved it, started dying laughing. And I looked around at everyone else, and it was such an uncomfortable like vibe. It was just like, I don't know if I can say the rest of my jokes.
Speaking about that, man, for most comics, there's like topics and whatnot that are like taboo or too raw. Do you have any of those topics?
Okay, so I got up one time and I kind of complained about abortion. I don't even know if I want to talk about this on camera, to be honest with you. Gosh. So I don't know what was into me, but I was just kind of thinking off the top of my head one time where I got up, and I can't remember the exact joke that I made. I never made it again because I just didn't like it. And I decided for the topic I'm just going to probably opt out of altogether. Other than just the one little meme I came up with, which said, like, you know, make Bama bleed again or something like that, or keep Bama crying. It's like one of those two. If you had to pick one way you wanted to go, like just the meme, just the name for how you would want to vote, you know, like which little chant you would want to be part of. Because both of those just sound equally as ridiculous, so I thought that was great. But yeah, no, probably the topic of abortion. I talked about how my old roommate in college like had an abortion, but she didn't realize it. She was like bleeding for several months and had no idea, but it was because, gosh, I can't tell the story. I'm probably on camera. I feel so awkward. So yeah, that was probably my rawest one. We'll talk about this afterwards.
Wow.
So abortion at the table, right on.
So I think I feel like everyone who's ever entertained has had one of those moments where it's like, what the hell am I doing when you're on stage? Like, why am I doing this? Have you had one?
Oh yes.
All right.
I feel like every time I go to get up there, I think that in my head. I'm like, but you know, I kind of stopped thinking that, and I just really stopped caring. But I don't want to do it almost if no one's really into it. You know, it is frustrating if like the crowd doesn't laugh at all or if they're not paying attention. So yeah, I guess I do have those moments for sure. And it's one of those things where I think I got like a kick of adrenaline doing it, and it was an addiction. So I just kind of kept going back, even though I hated it and I hated my performance. Like I'd say 100% of the time. Like I really had to do some I don't even know what you call it, like some self-love exercises and looking into myself as I was going through that process.
Right on. Well, we only have a couple of questions left. Jarek, what do you got?
So we had a lot of fans of horror and like, you know, Universal Classic Monsters on today. We had a lot of people going on. One character in specific has a pretty high tendency here. Do you have a favorite horror movie monster?
Ooh, horror horror movie monster?
Yeah.
She's
like,
I don't know. Not really.
Not really? That's fine. All right, that's fine. It's
How
wrong.
about
I
That's
love
fine.
Electra. That was one of my favorite comics, or my favorite, like, I guess, stories.
we'll
All
do
right.
that. Electra's cool.
But she's not
Um,
like a monster, so I don't
no,
know.
she's not. But hey, man,
No.
we have comic books in our store, so Electra's perfect.
That's fine.
I like the tampon comic one too. That's pretty funny.
The which one?
There's like a tampon one.
What?
Oh, is that Maneater? Is that what that was? I think we had it in the
that
store
one.
for a bit. Yeah, it's one. Every time you walk by, it's like, oh, all right, and just keep on moving.
I kept on moving.
Yeah.
Hey, what do you think the biggest misconception about being a stand-up in general is, or being a female stand-up?
Ooh, biggest misconception? I don't know. Yes. I guess going into it, I don't know. I kind of didn't know what to expect. I was just kind of game for anything.
Mm.
I think the biggest misconception I had before is how much preparation goes into writing jokes and how my brain wasn't really configured to, like, everyone told me for several months, Chassity, that's not even a joke. And I was like, but you can't laugh at this. This is great. And so I had to learn how to really set up and write a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't even go into, I still probably need to take more classes on it, to be honest. But yeah, to have like your hook and all your different little parts before you get to the punchline is what I didn't really expect. I kind of just thought, some people go up and just tell stories and that works. But that's not really what I wanted to go for. I wanted to have a really solid punchline and have it to be like a short, I guess, setup and shorter frame, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like Steven, what's his name? I can't remember.
Talking about Lewis Black.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Do you have anything coming up? Do you have any dates? Anything like that? Show dates, not like dude dates.
No, actually, I do not. So I'll have to sit around and plan something. I don't know what everyone's doing. I mean, I've been watching some folks on Instagram that are local comedians during the quarantine, like barely. And It sounds like they're not really doing anything. So I guess they'll be opening up everything soon, right?
I would hope so, especially after phase 2, man. We should be up and running. Where can the people on social media find you? Or where can people find you on social media, I should say?
There you go. That's a better question.
So it's for Instagram. That's what I really love. I love Instagram and Twitter, and they're both a little different. I should probably create a whole new Twitter, to be honest with you. Now that we're talking about this, so my Instagram is @Chassity Braud, and then my Twitter is @Braud Chassity. So the name is spelled CHASSITY. So I might start a whole new Twitter and change the handle to match my Instagram. So that's less.
It's
like, right on, cool, man. Well, that's it for this interview. Let's see. We are asking one question to everybody who we're interviewing, and take it away, Jared.
So we're doing this to sound extremely weird. So as you know, Chaz and I host a show. And so with the answer of your question, the hope is to indulge in this answer. It sounds really weird right now, I promise. But once we get through there, it's going to make so much more sense. So let's say you're walking around, you get a little peckish, and you're like, hey, man, I can go for a sandwich. And you walk into a deli, right? The first thing you see as soon as you walk in is Chassity Braud right up there on the menu. What exactly is on that sandwich?
Okay, this is a great question. I would put on that sandwich sprouts for sure, and probably some like salmon for sure. Like salmon, lettuce. I'd make it like a lettuce wrap sandwich for sure.
So we got a wrap, a lettuce wrap. Is that what we're doing? A lettuce wrap with salmon and sprouts. Man, we got any cheese or like something
sauce?
Yeah. Some sort of lemon juice or two.
Lemon juice. All right.
Right, cool, man. Because, well, what we're going to do is on a future episode of The Adventure Begins, we plan on making these and trying them. So,
yeah,
we're going to try your sandwich.
Okay. Let me know how it goes. I've never had that sandwich before. but it just sounds good.
Cool, man. And by the way,
supposed to go.
right before we take off, before our interview with David, we had to cut Flynn off, and I asked him to text what his sandwich would be for all of those who are asking. It's artisan bread, red fish fillet, spicy sauerkraut, sautéed bell peppers. So that should be pretty interesting. Most definitely. So, Chassity, thank you very much for hanging out with us. I do appreciate it. I'm sure I'll be talking to you really soon. For all you cats out there, Quarantine Con is still in full swing, so make sure you click the ticket, get free stuff. Check out all the vendors, the artists, and the guests before they take off, because today is the last day. Make sure you visit The Adventure Begins on Facebook, Instagram, and our website for all the upcoming events. Check out our show every Thursday on Roku. And again, Chassity, thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for showing up.
No.
Thank you guys.
Here's a new. It's not a new one, but here's another episode of Counter Space. See you, nerds.
See you, nerds.
Do you guys have any D&D stuff? I hate busy days.
What's up, dude? How's it going?
Exhausted, man. Absolutely exhausted.
Exhausted? You're exhausted. I had 5 customers last night.
5 customers? 5 customers? You got it easy, dude. You'd never... I'd like to see you work for a day.
Like, it's so crazy over here. I could do your job.
You could never handle my side of the store.
You wouldn't be able to handle the comic side. There's, like, a lot of alphabetizing and letters.
Yeah, dude, whatever. You'd never be able to handle the game side. I mean, there's so much you gotta do. Like, you gotta know where everything is. You gotta deal with customers, pretend like you're interested with the Magic players. And the worst of all, you gotta make coffee for people. You know how long that takes?
Nice day, huh? You're gurgling. Oh, you want to check out? It's going to be 5 more minutes. What kind of dog is that? Spencer! Spencer, what kind of dog do you think this is? Yeah, Spencer, no, really, what kind of dog is this?
I told you it's a pigeon!
I told you, like, a couple more minutes, I'll be ready for you, alright?
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's real rocket science. If I could dress myself, I could totally take over the gaming side.
Excuse me, do you have Arkham Horrors or Mansions of Madness?
Yeah, Chaz, do we?
Or Flux?
I don't know what any of that is.
I can help you. They'll be right over here, alright?
Thank you.
Ooh, coffee. Ooh. Oh, this is gross and it's cold. Do you think she can do my job? Sweet Christmas. Ugh.